Welcome back, guys, to another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video. Today we have got something special for you. We're going to be doing a showcase of the newly Easy 8 LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta, who do fuse into Mr. LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, the GOAT. That is our mascot, as you guys know. That is my favorite character in Dragon Ball, and my favorite fusion, and my favorite everything. That is why he is the brand of the channel. We absolutely love G4 around here. And man, did they fucking deliver. Did they deliver, man. We are going to be running on his equips right here. We have him built for full additional and dodge. He does not need crit pretty much at all. So we do have him built for full additional and dodge, and he's going to be cooking with that. I mean, dodge is absolutely great on him. If he has the chance to dodge, he has a chance to dodge. If he doesn't get off a gajillion defense and a gajillion everything else, at least he has a chance to dodge on top of it. So either way, we're going to be going in with this team. Should be an absolutely free win. I mean, this team is definitely busted. You can make it a little bit more busted by running the Tech Gods instead of Tech Broly, but we're running Tech Broly here because we want to go ahead and show what the Gods... We were going to do a separate showcase for the Gods. That's essentially what I'm trying to say here. But we're actually going to probably slot one him here. We actually have a slight key issue, so... ideally, we don't want to float off Vegito, but we're going to do that here so we can get them a little bit more key. That is fine, though. And then we'll get that for them. Okay. So their key is a little bit lackluster. That is just how they are designed. It's not a bad key passive necessarily. It's just not like the greatest thing in the planet, right? We'll go ahead and pull up Dokkan on Twitter so we can talk about what they do and stuff like that as well on the side. Global has not had their data download yet. Okay. We gotta go to actually Dokkan Twitter. I was just gonna use Dokkan info like we usually do, but we're gonna have to actually go to Dokkan Twitter. But off the bat, what I can tell you is for 7 turns, they have 100% extra stats. They get Key +2 and Guard. And then for the first turn, they also have 77% DR. So they're absolutely untouchable turn 1. You're not going to be able to kill these guys at all turn 1. They're completely fine. They do also get extra attack and defense for every Key Sphere they get. So here, we didn't get a lot of Key Spheres. So they don't have as much attack and defense as they would if you had gotten a lot of Key Spheres. That is something to keep in mind. And other than that, they have your standard, they have attack and defense. They do get a guaranteed additional super on their first turn as well. That does go away after their first turn. After that, they only have 2 guaranteed additional super attacks that they can put. Again, guaranteed. It's a crazy concept, I know, for SSBE. But they get guaranteed additional super at 17 key and another one at 20 key, which here we were at 20 key. So we did get both of every single one of the guaranteed we got. I don't know if we got their hidden potential. We'll go ahead and check that out next round. They are built for full additional, so they should pop the additional from Hippo pretty much every time from all the additional attacks that they are doing. They also have a 10% chance to perform a crit per Rainbow Key Sphere. The Key Sphere passive per Key Sphere is 10% for every Key Sphere, up to 77%. And their basic effects is just 200% attack and defense, and additional 2 key per type Key Sphere that they get. So they want more type Key Spheres than Rainbow Key Spheres, but Rainbow Key Spheres also give them criticals. So there is that. They also do get type effective at 20 or more key. Here, we're just going to leave Beast Gohan in slot 1 and let Vegito do his thing. We want to try to get a Gogeta active turn with him. Obviously, that would be nice. But we're not tripping about it if we don't get it, honestly. I mean, they don't need it at all. I did do a test run with both Gods and 4 Bros on the same team, and man, it's just absolutely insane. Absolutely freaking insane. But we're going to go let the boys do what they do here. Now, we are going into their second turn, which they will lose their 77% DR going into that next turn. But we'll have to take a look at how many stacks they did do. They got all the guaranteeds off. So we'll see what kind of stacks we're looking at for them. But in my personal experience, because the guard stays for 7 turns, until the guard goes away, you don't really need to transform these units. They have very, very good defense. So until the guard goes away, you don't really need to transform them. You can pretty much just keep stacking them until the guard goes away. And they are going to be greatly raising on every single super attack that they do, whether it's 12 or 18 key. They're getting 50% stat bump, which will scale very heavily with the fact that they are getting a multiplicative bonus as well. So with that, we are going into the second phase of the event with G4 on the turn. And also, we did go ahead and get a freaking 3Q on the turn with him, which is good. We're going to go to float out Broly. We don't need to transform him yet. So here we're getting 7 Key Spheres and a lot of rainbows. So we're going to probably crit. What that means is, let me just double check that it's every Key Sphere, not type Key Spheres. It is for every Key Sphere. Okay. So they're 1 away from their maximum buff. So they're only missing 7%. I'm not sure if the buff carries over between turns for their percentage of Key Spheres collected. I don't remember how AGL Vegito worked in regards to that. However, they did get all 5 of their super attacks last turn, so they got 5 out of 5, which means that we are at currently 5 stacks, which you can see is 1.4 million defense and 6.1 million attack. With that being said, let's just go ahead and continue here and see what happens. You don't really need to give that last guy any response. Let's see if they get supered by KO. They're guarding. They are getting super. Let's see what they take here. This is without their 77% DR. So this is a good show to see if they can actually take on the second phase, which I believe they should be able to very easily. Yeah, 171 is absolutely nothing. That is, again, with 5 supers, but they do have a guaranteed 4. So the only additional thing that they got is 1. So that 17 million attack stat right there, and also the defense number, that's with them only missing 1 key sphere for that percentage. That, or they are at their cap, because if they key spheres do stack, then they do have their cap already because of the last turn. I will go ahead and ping somebody in the server, see if they can answer that for me. I'm not 100% sure on that. Do the key spheres collected carry over between turns? I believe they do not, but I don't want to be giving you guys incorrect information. Okay, so my friend that does have actually no life, his name is JoJo's in the server. You guys should go ping him and tell him he has no life. He did say that they do also have they don't stack between rounds, which is I believe what it was with AGL Vegeta. I said when AGL Vegeta came out, I remember saying like if he was stacking those key spheres every turn, he'd be absolutely great, but he doesn't, and that really holds him back. So it's a good thing. But yeah, pretty good stuff. We did get the boy Groom today. Can't really tell because he's blending in pretty much perfectly with the freaking sheets. But we got the boy Groom today. He's looking pretty micey, spicy, and all that good stuff. He is absolutely amazing today. He feels great. He looks great. I needed to get a haircut, but I had a bunch of other stuff come up, so I wasn't able to go get my haircut. We're gonna go to pass through this Vegito turn here. I mean, we don't really need to see this. Vegito's Vegito. I'm not sure how to feel. I'm probably gonna title this video like a new #1 contender, because I do think you can argue G4 at #1. I don't know if I for sure would say he's #1. When I initially used him, like the very first run, I was like kind of 50-50 on it because he didn't feel like that insane without the Gogeta active. But like he can get the Gogeta active, right? And it's like if you look at him and Vegito without the Gogeta active, Vegito's active turn is still absolutely insane. But for the rest of the fight, G4 just feels so much better. His base being your slot 1, then he transforms, he does super counter, he does all these things. Like Vegito's absolutely great. His active turn basically wins you the game. But like so does Gogeta's. So it's really hard to judge like who you think really is #1. I think especially on formidable opponents, G4 is just better. Formidable opponents, G4 is just better. The Vegito unit and the Gogeta unit even, both on formidable foes are not that great. Gogeta unit I'd say is a little bit better because of the Veku, but G4 on formidable foes is just absolutely insane. You just bring him out turn 4 and he just absolutely shreds, man. Absolutely shreds. Now we are on the Kefla here. We could transform into Ape. We are at 2 million defense. We are going to be able to get 5 key spheres here. I think we're just going to keep stacking. I don't really think we have any reason to be concerned. I think even if Kefla was to super us, the only one that I'm kind of concerned about would be Vegeta, but I don't think he'll die to it. I think he'll just take a good chunk. So we want to kind of keep the Ape alive until the Jiren stage, and we want to transform him on the Jiren stage. So we can kind of avoid like the AoEs and stuff for him, because Foku does not do very well against AoEs. So we kind of want to save the Ape for that. So that's what we're going to try to do here. We could just transform and not care. It doesn't really matter. This seems absolutely insane, but it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, we're looking pretty spicy so far. Absolutely insane stats. This is our 3rd turn of stacking with them. Again, they do keep their guard up until turn 7 is when the guard will go away. We will know that by the indicator as well. We can take a look at that. But until turn 7, you don't have a reason to really transform them. Even against like the Jiren phase, they can get through that without transforming. They're not really concerned. It's mainly honestly guys like this, like freaking 3Q, that kind of like, if they get supered, you're cooked. But so far we're good because he hasn't been supered, you know. Again, same thing with Vegeta. He's lost his extra defense, but I had a really good run earlier where I was able to get like Gogeta like 8 super attacks before he transformed, and he got 8 super attacks, did his active skill, and his active skill did like 53 million damage. It was amazing. But we're not gonna be able to get that here because Vegeta's not been able to attack like that. We didn't get very lucky with like the HP patterns here. But looking very, very good still. Very, very good. Really looking forward to getting the G4 out. We honestly, again, we could pull the G4 out right now. We just don't want to. I want to stack this guy. I want to show you guys what he can do when he's like kind of wanked. We could transform it, but there's just no reason to really do it. Here we will go ahead and transform Broly. Would have liked to wait a little bit on this, but it's fine. We don't really want Broly to do damage, to be honest. We want Vegito to stack. We are floating off Beast Go Home, which isn't ideal, but, you know, it's fine. He has his active skill. We can pop that whenever he comes back around in, like, 4 turns. We don't really need it here, and I don't think we'll need it, like, super late game, because we have, like, G4 and Gogeta and Vegito. I kind of want to stall until we can get Gogeta back on the other rotation, because I want to pop the Gogeta active with the G4, because I think we'll get a turn where you get to see G4 without the Gogeta active, and I want you to see a turn of Gogeta with the Super Gogeta active. So I want to show you guys both, because I think that was one thing in like the Dokkan World Showcase you kind of didn't really see, because you kind of just saw him get double Gogeta active, and then he just, you know, obliterated everything, which is cool to see, but I want to kind of see what he does like on a more realistic scale, where it's like you're not giga wanking him, right, with double Gogeta active, which is absolutely insane, but I mean, I just want to see what he does without that. I did do a run earlier, and I got him up to like 40 million, and that's what he was like chilling at without the Gogeta active. He did have some support, and he did have like 4 coup links and all that stuff, but that is pretty good. That is pretty good. I mean, 40 into like a 32, 33, then 34, 35. It's all pretty good, and then he can do a counter super on top of that. It's absolutely insanely valuable. While being your slot 1. Again, while being your slot 1. That's like the main thing that these anniversary units were kind of lacking. They can't really slot 1 for like a majority of the fight. Like, you can switch to the Vegeta side, and if you get him like stacked up a little bit, he can slot 1 for a bit, but then you're stacking off the attack for Vegito, which makes him look really pitiful sometimes. Like, I had a run where Vegito only got 4 supers before he transformed because he was floating, and he had like 5 million on his counter, and that was like after like 10 counters. So stuff like that can happen. Now what we could do here is we could transform Forku, and that'll take us into the Jiren phase. I just want to use this turn to get like the extra 1 turn of stacking with these guys. They have all their orbs right there, so they're absolutely peaked out on orbs. Let's take a look at their defense stat. This is the final turn of their extra stats in guard, and then we will transform into G4 when they come back around. They're at a 3 million with 13 attacks and 12 super attacks performed. All pretty solid. Vegito's just kind of sitting there. This is, yeah, I mean, that's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. They will go ahead and finish off Kefla here. I don't think we got too many rainbow orbs, so they shouldn't like crit. That's a big thing. We're not building them for crit because we don't want them to crit. 23 million in base right now is what we're looking at. 23 million in base, by the way. In base. So we are, I mean, we're definitely like waking them here. 100%. I'm not going to deny that. Like, we're stalling out the turn. We don't have to stall out. We're choosing to stall out. We're choosing to stall out. We're choosing to not transform them early. We're choosing to do all these things. But it's kind of to show you guys what these guys are capable of. And again, I want to show you guys, these guys can just slot 1 these entire early phases of this event. Like, they're completely fine. Same thing goes for the God Bros. They're not going to be struggling at all for like, being able to slot 1 on this. They just stack so fast because they have the Greatly Raising now and the Guaranteed Supers. They stack so insanely fast. That guy getting locked there is not ideal. Yeah, that's not ideal. That is not ideal because I wanted to have him come around on the other. So he'll be 1, 2, 3. He'll be 4. I mean, I think if we transform him here, right? But we don't pop the active because the transformation gets rid of the lock, so he can move around. And then we can pop this Vegito active, and we'll be okay, I think. We're going to pop the Vegito active. This should do some decent damage. Nothing too crazy, I think. I do want to put Broly into slot 2. I do think he'll do a little bit more damage there. I think he'll be fine either way because there is so much wank. Vegito is going to get sealed, so he's not going to get the super off either way. But Broly would tank a little bit better in slot 1. We're going to heal. We're going to heal either way, so I don't think it matters. We should be fine to put Broly slot 2. He's just going to have to take the normal. It is what it is. I think he takes like 300k from it. We'll see. We'll leave the physical orbs. We'll grab the intelligence ones. And then we'll grab these. And then we'll leave the phys orbs to heal. Potentially, at least. And yeah, let's go with that. Let's see what he takes on this. He's taking double digits. He's not going to be taking too much damage here. We can pop Ape next turn. We'll pop Ape. We'll pop G4. We want to stall about 4 turns and then have this guy come back. We have another Vegito that's going to be coming around on this rotation, I believe. So we can go ahead and pop the other Vegito's active on this turn. And then he'll be able to protect this rotation until G4 comes back around with the Super Gogeta support. And we'll get to show you guys that as well. Next turn, we'll go ahead and transform both Forku and G4. And get you guys the showing of what they can do together. Hopefully the Jiren doesn't super until after. Is this guy? Huh. Did he not seal? That is sealed damage, isn't it, huh? That is sealed damage, I believe. Because he did not super. But he has a 40 million counter because he's been stacking. Because that is just what Vegito does, guys. That is just what Vegito does. His active turn is absolutely insane. Active turn is absolutely insane. But looking pretty good. I mean, looking pretty good. Tech Broly also shining out pretty well. I mean, absolutely pretty solid stuff. He's not doing bad at all. I mean, he could do better damage, but you know, it's not bad at the end of the day. And then Gogeta is at 35 without his active, obviously, but he doesn't get the active up either way. Doesn't really matter. I'm not sure who I like as a leader more right now between Gogeta and Vegito. I do like having 2 Gogeta actives more than 2 Vegito actives just for the fun aspect of like wanking units. But having 2 turns of just unkillable Vegito doing his active damage is also pretty nice. So there is that. There is that. I mean, this guy is like basically dead. I mean, I feel like if we went like all out with the Ape next turn, the Ape would probably just kill this Jiren and then we just fight the final phase. But we want to get the Gogeta to come back around, and that's going to be kind of hard to do if we just destroy him, you know? We might have to just hold back on the Ape. I think we'll kind of probably wait a turn on the Ape. If this guy even lives? Okay. And Beast Gohan is locked. Okay. That is unideal. We're going to just pop Ape because of that. And then we'll fix the rotation. Ape does let you fix rotation, so there's the reason that we did that. We'll go ahead and just kill him with Ape, transform into Forku, and then hope that we don't kill him before the Gogeta comes back. I mean, that's the plan right now. That's kind of just the plan right now. We don't really have much of a choice. I am going to pop the other Vegito's active, but he is really weak because he's been floating and not stacking. So it shouldn't do too much damage. Realistically, it shouldn't do too much damage. Ape, I need you to, like, kill here. That would be nice. Baby girl, please. So close. We're so close. Come on. I swear, if he leaves him at, like, 1 HP, that's gonna suck, man. Okay, good. That's what we wanted. Now we'll get the Forku transformation. We'll go into the next Jiren phase. Transform G4, get the Scouter. We do have Beast Gohan available as well, but we're not going to pop that. We just don't need it. Simply put, we just don't need it. We want to get the G4 counter in here. G4 is also going to be indestructible on this first turn. I know we haven't talked about what G4 does yet. I did put the breakdown out. If you guys haven't seen the breakdown yet, the breakdown is out. Yeah, I mean, let's see what he can do, man. So we got Forku here. There is a Super Slot 1. Let's go ahead and transform G4. And G4 is at 3.1 million defense with 5.6 attack. He's going to be able to get these 10 orbs with 2 Rainbow Key Spheres right there. And then we can set up these for her next turn. We'll go ahead and grab this. And then we'll grab this. I mean, he's at 3.5 right now. Let's see what happens here, man. He is getting a Dokkan mode as well. We're not going to do the Dokkan mode to avoid doing too much damage. We did get the counter off right here. So let's go and see what his counter does. That's a 22 million counter. And it is going to be doing 42 million damage. 42 million damage. Actual damage, guys. And he's at a 42 million attack stat as well. 42 million attack stat as well. Essentially guaranteed crit. Because he is at 24 key. He's guaranteed to crit. So, Yeah, I mean, let's talk about what Gogeta does, right? We haven't talked about that. So, Gogeta, once he transforms, on the first turn, he gets 77% damage reduction, which is what he has right now. So even if he was to get hit by that super and not counter it, he'd be indestructible. It wouldn't matter. I didn't see what his additional normal attack stat was there. I am assuming it was pretty good. 32 mil. He nullified the attack. That is another thing he does on his 18 key. He nullifies enemy actions. So he did go ahead and nullify that extra attack that Jiren had, if that mattered. It did not in that situation, but it could have, right? He has type effective. He has guard. He has a high chance of performing a crit. He launches an additional super attack guaranteed. He foresees enemy super attacks always. He randomly changes a key sphere to rainbow for 4 turns. And for every key sphere obtained, he gets up to 100% attack and defense. That is multiplicative, and it applies, like that turn, we only got 7, so it gave us 70%. We do have this Vegito here. And this Vegito, what we're going to do is we're going to pop his active, and we're going to do it without him having Link, so he does less damage, so we can stall out a turn. We're going to put him slot 3 as well, that way he doesn't do like a ridiculous amount of counter damage like post super and stuff, because he can still do some pretty good damage post super. So we're going to avoid that by putting him slot 3. And yeah, we're just going to do we're going to put a Tech Broly into slot 1. That way he also just does less damage, because he won't get it in his super. And same thing with Tech Vegito being slot 2 here. He's not gonna, we're just gonna avoid key and stuff. We're trying to avoid giving that last Vegito like too much. And we're just gonna let him tank for us here, so we can stall until next turn when we pop the Gogeta active, and then we see what G4 can do with that on turn. So we did get to see what he does without. He does also get a massive raise for 4 turns. So that massive raise wasn't an impact right there, but it'll be an impact when we come back around. And on top of that, because he wasn't doing enough, right? Every rainbow key sphere he gets a chance of performing a crit and 10% damage reduction. When activating the active skill, or if he has 24 key, which he did right there, he gets an additional 50% attack. When receiving an attack, he gets 50% damage reduction within the turn if he's under 50% HP. And when receiving a super attack, he has a great chance of nullifying it and countering with tremendous power. And on top of that, he nullifies it and counters with tremendous power guaranteed when he's facing one enemy with under 50% HP, which is also the same condition for their active skills. Their active skill conditions, I believe, have not changed. It still requires the enemy to be under 50% HP for you to be able to pop it. And when you do, it does massive damage. Gogeta's I've seen do damage cap very easily. All attacks we can be activated when HP is 50% or less, or when facing an enemy who's 50% or less. With this team, you're rarely ever going to get under 50% yourself, so that's something to keep in mind. But I mean, we're about to get Jiren under 50% next turn, so we're going to pop it with that. Hopefully we just don't absolutely obliterate him. We will a little bit, but hopefully we don't like do it before we get to see that Gogeta counter and do supers and stuff. I do want to see what his attack stat's going to be. We gave him like 15, 16 stacks or something. Like he was stacking for a minute. But yeah, as you guys can see right here, like this Vegito, he was floating around. He didn't get a lot of stacks on his pre, and now he's at like a 14 million attack stat in slot 3 after all the counters that he's had thrown at him. So that's how like a way you can kind of like nerf your Vegito if you're running 2 of him. Whereas Gogeta, it's like even if he's like floating, right, and he's not doing too much damage, he's still gonna pop that active and make your main rotation units absolutely cracked. So I do think having like 2 Gogetas might just be more valuable than having 2 Vegitos, because it's just like you don't really need 2 main rotation Vegitos. It still wins you the game. And any of these 4 units can win you the game. Like him, God Bros, Vegito, Gogeta, they're all busted. But it's all about the fun aspect right here. It's all about the fun aspect. So let's go ahead and pop Gogeta's active in the middle slot here. It's going to do a good bit of damage. 25, okay. Again, this Gogeta was floating, so makes sense. There is a super slot 3, which if we try to save for that, we're not going to be able to do anything. So we're just going to pop the active here. Let's go and take a look at the active damage. That is damage cap. A little bit more than damage cap for sure. And we're just going to throw G4 to slot 1. He has 6 orbs right there. Guaranteed crit pretty much, right? He has Gogeta active up. His attack and defense stats. He's at 6.4. 6.4 million defense. And is a unit who's guarding and has like, right now, like 50% DR or something. So absolutely insane unit right here. Absolutely insane. Let's go ahead and see what his attack stat is. We're only going to get to see 1 attack. And, I mean, if there was a counter, we would have only seen the counter. But we're only going to see 1 attack from him here. And it is a 73-minute Ultra Super attack, which he has a guaranteed additional super after that. He is basically a guaranteed... Actually, on this turn, it is a guaranteed counter because this guy's under 50%. He actually lived that. So we get to see this additional for 56 million. What did they create, man? This guy's absolutely freaking flawless. There is almost no situation realistically where you're gonna make this guy look bad. He's so freaking good, man. So freaking good. This is your Aizen. I'm in love. I'm gonna test the fuck out of this unit. I'm signing out.